All right, our first guest just said, you make me want to dance a little. Welcome to Great Day Houston, everybody. Our first guest is a testament to having blind faith or throwing caution to the wind. She moved to Houston with no job, not even a plan, just a suitcase, a boyfriend, and a craving for the flavors of her home country of Vietnam. Fast forward a few years, and Lena Lee is now the chef behind one of Houston's most inspiring culinary businesses. Last year, she got national attention on the Food Network show, Chopped.
I don't know if there's another smell as memorable or intense as a truffle.
Wow. These judges is gonna have truffle in ways that they never had before. My heart cannot handle it.
You broke the code of the truffle.
Clearly, she could handle it. She won the competition. Lena is part of AAPI Restaurant Weeks, another way that she turns meals into meaning. Good morning.
Good morning, Deborah. Thank you so much for having us today.
And we did not call each other on our colors that we were wearing. We were like, oh, look, we both have an orange. All right. Lena, you know, when it comes to how you grew up, so many times people look back at things as a negative, and really what it turned out to be was a positive because it created who they are and what they did with it.
That is true.
You had parents who were entrepreneurs, always gone.
Yeah. So like my parents never home. However, whenever they home, my mom would cook like a really big feast and, you know, welcome everybody and we have big dinner. So I always love it when my parents are home.
Yeah, food was comfort for you and you associated that.
Yes.
And I think so many of us associate food with comfort,
yes.
right?
And then, or when they're home, then we would go out and eat together. And I always say like, I love it when you're home, but not because you're home, because, you know, it's not about like me wanting to see you. It's about me going out and
get some food, right? Right. All right. You know, and you, in fact, it was so much so that in your mind you thought, I don't know if I ever want to be my own boss or an entrepreneur because that's a lot of work.
I saw them, you know, struggle with lives. They look stressed all the time. They are busy all the time. They never have time for family. And I always crave for that family values, that family quality time. And I never had them. So growing up, I said, I never want to be entrepreneurs. My dad wanted me to take over his company, but I was like, no, I don't want the responsibilities.
Yeah.
And look where I am now.
And speaking of, look where you are now. All right. Speaking of other family, your grandma kind of raised you and took care of you.
Yes.
And she was in the kitchen cooking as well, but she didn't have quite the time to teach you, so you had to really observe.
Well, you know, back in the day, I don't think that she didn't have time. It just, she didn't have the patience. We were pretty useless.
She's like, here, wash the dishes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
then, you know, they would never see like, that's not how you do it. Okay, let me do it. And then she would just take over.
Yeah.
So, but I love watching her cook all the time. I just never had the opportunity to cook
at that
myself.
time. Yeah. But you know, one thing you did learn from your parents was a strong work ethic, and you got to do what you got to do. We were talking about being that kind of kid who's a self-starter.
Yes.
And so you had all kinds of jobs. You learned to pivot and seize opportunity when it came your way. You were banker, teacher, nanny, and event planner.
I know. You know, growing up, my parents always say like, it's best that you stick with one major and you go up from there. Meanwhile, I was just jumping jobs all the time. However, it helped me to become a person I am today. I know a little bit of every aspect of the business, and it helps me to build my business.
Yeah.
So,
you also love to volunteer in your spare time. And it turns out one organization or a cause that you were very passionate about, it hit home for you, but you didn't know that in the beginning. And you helped domestic abuse victims.
Yes. So actually, my mom and my aunt, they are domestic abuse survivors. I am also a domestic abuse survivor without knowing that I'm suffering from all that trauma growing up.
PTSD, basically.
Yeah. And before I would just thought I was weird, or I just don't belong anywhere. But then I took a training course at Fort Bend Women's Shelters in order how to deal with survivors, and I realized that I have all those symptoms. And that's when I know more that domestic violence is not just physical, it's also verbal, sexually, you know, and it's a lot of other things as well.
Yeah.
And you know, I couldn't help my mom and my aunt before because I was young and stupid. But
not stupid, you were young, naive, and just didn't know.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
And when you said that you thought you were weird, it's so funny how many people want to be a standout, but they're too busy trying to fit in.
Exactly.
So you weren't weird, you were a standout in a way.
Exactly.
And like even the negative things that happen to us in life become our resume for how we live the rest of life and how we give back. And so we'll get to that in a little bit of how you give back in that way. But moving to America, what was your idea of America before you got here?
Like you said, I had no plan.
Yeah.
I'm moving here because I feel like
let's back up. How that happened? It's like, What's going on? Nothing. Let's move to America. Like, how did that come up? How did that come up?
Well, actually, I traveled the world before that, so I travel everywhere myself. So I'm just confident as in I can live anywhere. And I found a guy, and we've been really compatible. And you know, with our past, we were struggling with a lot of things, and we feel like we can really be together. So I was like, okay, then I'll move over there, and we'll see how it works. It turns out it worked out great.
Yeah.
So
but a great lesson in there. The lesson is you don't know unless you try.
Exactly.
You always knew you could go back.
Yes.
You always go backwards, but
Yes.
you were working on moving forward.
Exactly.
So you had no job lined up, but he had a job. He was working. You were missing the flavors of home. So you started cooking the food that you all knew, and he's like, "This is really good. Like, you want to do something with this?"
Yeah. So actually, it wasn't good at first. When you
He was
first
just really
started
nice
out,
at first.
Yeah, he was really nice.
So that's the reason why he suggested you go to culinary school, because like,
Yes,
that way the food will
exactly.
taste better.
So that's how I got to culinary school. Well, in Vietnam at the time, you know, chef wasn't like a career, so you not really pay attention to it. There would be no school. You don't know how to start it. But over here, it's pretty set. And then you go to school, you work in restaurants, and then that's how I did it.
Yeah, and while you were in school, the experience, like you mentioned earlier, the importance of building on experience. You took a job as a dishwasher, you moved up in the prep cook line, but to know everything that takes place in the kitchen is vital for a chef. A lot of people think the chef is just about the cooking. It's about all kinds. It's managing a kitchen, managing employees.
Is managing employees a really big thing, because that way you need a person's skills.
Yeah.
You need communication skills. You need a lot of other skills besides cooking.
Yeah.
But also you need to learn how to fix things when it's broke.
Yeah, and that's what competition shows are great for. You oftentimes need to know how to fix things.
Yes.
You competed in a student competition that was by James Baird Foundation. It was to make a 6-course Thanksgiving Day dinner, which Thanksgiving is uniquely American. You had to learn about that.
Yeah, oh my God. It was so funny that when I won that award, I got to go to New York, you know, James Beard's house, cook in his kitchen, and cooking for his, James Beard Foundation members and VIP guests for Thanksgiving. And I wasn't familiar with, you know, the whole American cuisines, not, you know, elevated everything. And I look at the menu, there's only 6 dishes, but the menu was this long.
Wow, yeah.
Because each dish has so many different components, and I didn't understand a word.
Well,
I had to Google a lot of
You had to
things.
Google. Google was good to you. You won, and then you were on the show Chopped.
Yes, I was. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I would say, if you want to get on TV for recognitions, that's fine. But if you do want to get on TV to get that experience, that competitions, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, because when we talk about reality TV, we know some reality TV is kind of fabricated. This is the real deal, and you're under pressure. The real deal.
I was sweating the whole time.
Yeah. And then you were on Beat Bobby Flay as well, so you've done those shows. But now, okay, as I'm standing here talking to you, this smells so good. I'm smelling all the things and some of the flavors I grew up with in Asia, and we were talking about Asian cuisine, that you're cooking as fresh as you can, right? And the seasonings are great.
Yeah, so we have like over 60 items of different Asian cuisines on our menu, and we cook everything from scratch. We have over like 30 different sauces, and we make everything from scratch.
So let's back up and tell people what this is right here. So there's different things that you can do when you go to culinary school. I think sometimes people forget, they think it's always the restaurant. It's not just the restaurant. There's catering, there's meal prep like you do.
Yeah, so we do meal prep, we deliver to homes, we have pickup locations as well. We also do catering for corporates, for weddings. We do a lot of weddings lately. And the menu is variety from Korean japchae, which we have right here, and then we have fried rice. And then we have, that's what you're trying right now is the Korean bulgogi. And we have chicken tandoori. We also have a lot of vegan options, where shaking tofu, and then a lot of seafood options like miso salmon. So it's a variety of all different cuisines.
All balanced for you, all cooked for you.
Yes, all balanced.
And when you have your food, it comes with a big dose of love and community support, because the people you hire, tell us what you do.
So we offer jobs and training for domestic abuse survivors. And I volunteered with a lot of different shelters and organizations, and I realized that once they got away from the abusers, they healed, you know, they got their kids out of the abusive homes, they have to start their life over again.
How can they be self-sufficient?
Exactly,
right.
And they need to be financial independent, you know, to avoid from going back to the abuser. So that's when we want them to get something easy, comfort food cooking, and that's how the meal prep was born.
All right, tell us about AAPI Restaurant Weeks.
I've been partnered with AAPI Restaurant Week. I think this is the 3rd year, and whenever that you donate $25, you get all the discounts from all the restaurants that participated. And for us, you get 10% off whenever you order from our meals. And then OCA Greater of Houston, they will donate rice to Houston AAPI seniors. It's beautiful. It's everything involving around food. Everybody jumping in and help each other.
Yeah. This is great because I can order all this right here. And my son goes, Mom, I'm hungry. I'm like, in the fridge.
There you go.
In the fridge.
And it's ready to go, microwavable, and then it's ready in like a minute and a half, and then that's it.
And then I'll just tell him that I had put it together over a weekend. I made that, honey, over a weekend. But anyway, it is so nice to meet you.
It is nice to have you.
You're just like one of those people that I love. I'm so comfortable with that. I took off my shoes, everybody. I just because I was a giant earlier. But thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for what you do and giving meaning to the food that you serve.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. AAPI Restaurant Weeks is happening now through June 15th. Remember, over 50 eateries are participating, including Lena's Asian Kitchen. Just log on to their website at aapirestaurantweeks.com. Make a donation, and you'll receive a ton of specials to participating eateries. Every donation will make a difference.